Hello. Sorry. Clicking buttons, buttons. Welcome, everybody. For a few of you, you're like, oh, you are everywhere. I've been on a few different places this morning. So you're in your jammy still, savoring not being at work. Good morning, Dana. Welcome. No, I'm not in my jammies, that's for sure. I'm up and I am about to go doing a little bit of running about and just after this. So coming in, happy solstice to everybody. Happy Yule. Wow, we have it's also in your jammies. Oh, geez, jammy people. We should have a pajama party. That would be awesome. Sending out blessings to you guys today. Today is it's a big day. It it is. I mean, I don't know about you, but I can really feel that energetic shift with that Jupiter and Saturn conjunction. But it's not only the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction that is happening here. Good morning, everybody. Let me freshen this up, and I'll bring it up for you. And I'm going to bring a share up for you all. I thought Steve was going to punch me through the phone. No. So here we go. Here's the chart for today, people. So I don't know if you're able to see this on your phones. Let's see if I can bring this up. I don't know if that makes any difference for anybody. So here we go. Here's the big thing. I'm in a large screen, so I can't see anybody's post right now. But here's where Jupiter and Pluto are right now. They're at 0 degrees, 29 and 28. The exact will be at around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the Calgary in the Mountain Standard Time, you add an hour and 2 hours to Central. So we have this here. So we have them here. Now we have also lovely little sun coming into Capricorn. First time in 3 years that Saturn hasn't been in there since they've come in. So we have that. And it's squaring off the moon later on today. The moon is at, I'm going to just go to smaller screen. The moon is just at the end of Pisces. We'll be going into, where am I going? Here we go. We'll be going into Aquarius later on this morning. It's at 27 degrees, so 6 hours from now, 7 hours from now, it's going to be going, and it's going to square off over here to the sun. So looking at all of this, so let me just come and talk to you straight. So there is so much happening today. It's not only just the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, but we got the first quarter square with the sun and moon. Mars is going to be on top of Eris at 23 degrees, squaring off Pluto. And we still have Neptune squaring the nodes. So there's a lot of this energy that's sort of intensifying, that is coming in. And I was talking on Instagram this morning about it, about how this energy is coming forth. And this is a new story. This is for us to take a new story. This is a new book. It's a big book that we're getting onto the world stage, and it's emotional. There's going to be some emotional energy, especially with that Aries there, and with the moon being in Aries and Mars and Aries squaring off to Pluto. And Pluto's not by himself in Capricorn. I mean, the sun's coming in, and same with Mercury. So it's wanting to get clarity, and the Mercury's going to be squaring off the moon later on today. This energy of this of the Jupiter Pluto, because they are the big dudes up there in the sky, these big guys coming together, is a conjunction that hasn't happened since in 20 years. So every 20 years, there is a conjunction of Jupiter and Pluto. I just want to say that this isn't the very first time these guys, you got to think, they're going around the sun for billions and billions of years that they've never met up? No, it's every 20 years that they meet up. But every 20 years, it's a significant event, or seems to be a significant event. We had the Y2K in the year 2000, in 1980, 81. We had the Reagan administration coming in. In 1960, we had JFK coming in. So that there's been very significant changes that have come in when they have met up. Coming into the air sign of Aquarius makes it very significant, okay, because they're not retrograding out of air, they're staying in air and they're going forward in the air sign. So that makes it very significant there, and coming into an energy that hasn't been there for 800 years at this point, and coming out of Earth, meeting up in Earth, okay, so actually meeting up and completing a 360-degree circle in Earth, and that's what they do when they meet up. They do this, and it takes 200 years in doing this for air. So every time they meet up after this, in another 20 years, it's going to be in air. So they're going to be meeting up together in air signs, and that brings in a new foundation that we will be building in air. So we got to think of what air is. Air is very intellectual. Bringing in that air energy, bringing in that intellectual energy, and things changing dramatically on a drop of a dime. Energies and things can change, but you have to also realize that this is very divine energy. So this is, and with this conjunction is also within, and I was speaking about this on Instagram, the lineage of David, right? So this is from the house of David. So when they have met, and this has energies to do with the house of David. And this also has to do, because this is the Star of Bethlehem, the Star of David. This also has where of the coming of Jesus, and Jesus coming into the crystalline energy. And that's what Jesus was. He was coming into the Christ consciousness energy and bringing it to earth. In this energy, he comes, and Jesus had to die in order for this to come in. So he had to go through the 3 days of darkness, which is what happens within this winter solstice. And he rises again. This is coming into our new birthing, into the birthing of something that is new, that is coming into our Christ consciousness, coming into that energy of the Christ consciousness, which is the crystalline energy. Don't get hung up on dogma. Don't get hung up on what, oh, but it says here, no, don't. Just come into the energy of it. Come into the purity and the divineness of the energy. It's your ego. If your ego starts taking you off here and there and everywhere, that is not allowing for you to accept the divine gifts that are coming before us. And coming before us into this divine energy. And this isn't Jesus in the physical form. It is the Christ. The Christ is the energy. The Christ consciousness is the energy of this. And this is coming in with this divine timing that we are going to be feeling, especially today. There's going to be something that's going to come in, and I'm feeling it, but not getting stuck on the expectations that it has to be this way. This is divine timing. Divine timing is very powerful because it comes in when it needs to come in. This divine timing comes when it is needed, or when we open ourselves up to it. That's what the divine timing is. It's when we allow ourselves to come in, and allowing ourselves to not get swayed. And I know there's something else going to be coming up with the vaccine. There's something that it's not going to be the way that everybody thinks it's going to be. It's not going to be the way the pharmaceuticals or the corporations and all of that think it's going to be. Something is going to come out from this. And there is great things that are going to be showing up. There's going to be great things that are going to be showing up. But how are we going to take it? How are we going to take this? Because it's divinely energetically coming in. this energy with this Jupiter Saturn conjunction, you know, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's not a passing, oh yeah, that's fine. It's like the Saturn Pluto conjunction that we had on January 12th. That was a big deal because it's a rarity of them coming together like that. This is a rarity of them coming together in Aquarius at 0 degrees, and the sun at 0 degrees, and the moon going in Aries at 0 degrees. This is, you know, anything at 0 degrees or 29 degrees of a sign, there is sudden, abrupt changes that come in. There is energies that come in and move us into a new flow, into a new direction. And this is where we have to look at this being a big day. And the solstice, this is karmic stuff, where Jupiter's, you know, wanting to move forward into the new karmic story. And Saturn is the timekeeper, wanting to put things down. You know, it's like putting things down that are concrete. He is the co-ruler of Aquarius. This is like his vacation house. He's not in detriment. This is like where he is at. He is the co-ruler, but he rules with his father, right? So he was ruling with his father, who was in Taurus. So there is foundational work as a collective that is going to be coming up. There is energies that are going to be appearing. I don't think it's going to be as harsh as what some people are thinking, because I know there is talk about martial law and that in different parts of the United States. But there is something that is coming forward. I mean, we already saw some crazy things coming in out of England. And I spoke before about taking flights, and now they're stopping a lot of flights coming in from different countries right now, and even in Europe. And in some places, they're not allowing flights in or out at this time. And one of the places is Saudi Arabia. They're not allowing flights in or out of Saudi Arabia right now. They've ceased the flight. And so when things like this start to happen, you know there is shifting that's happening. But instead of going into the fear, go into the divineness. Go into this and saying there's a divinely orchestrated energy that's coming in. On file for 35,000 containers of tear gas. Yeah. So there is something coming in that is going to be happening. And you remember what I said, this isn't a time to start up and go crazy and start rebelling. This is a preparation time of us preparing, watching. The time is coming, but we also have to realize with Mars on top of Eris, both of those are warrior signs. Eris is the goddess of chaos, and Mars is the god of war, and he's in his home sign. Aries is that of war. Aries is very, you know, they're the head, right? So they can be a little bit pig-headed. They can be a little bit stubborn. They want to do things on their own, but Uranus is coming in, and he is the ruler of all, is coming in, and he's going to be making himself known and saying, we have to come together as a collective. You can't do it all by yourself. We have to come in, and we have to come in with this newness and looking in this new divineness as this Christ consciousness energy, and stepping into the Christ consciousness energy, which is the crystalline energy, which is that of what the divine, the Jesus came down, he died, he, you know, went into the 3 days of darkness, which is what happens when the sun is at its lowest point, goes into 3 days of darkness. We're coming into the darkest days. And then it starts to come up and it starts to rise again around the 25th, right? So it starts to rise and it gets longer, a minute each day. So we know that the darkness never lasts. The light always comes back. The light always appears. And having this energy coming in, and with the moon squaring the sun, there's a shifting that is happening, but the shifting isn't as smooth as what we want it, right? So we got these two big dudes meeting up, and when they meet up, they're huge. I mean, it's like having two sumo wrestlers sharing the same bed, and it's a double. And then trying to get them out of bed, right? Trying to roll them out. So there's a little bit of movement there. Good analogy, right? You guys are like, two sumo wrestlers in a double bed. So we got this energy of these big dudes, trying to maneuver and move their way forward into something new. One moves faster than the other. Yeah? So one moves faster. So we have Jupiter moves a lot faster than what Saturn does. So Jupiter is like, he's already rolling. He's going to be rolling, to move into that new direction. And Saturn is still going to be taking its time as it goes forward. So we have this energy is going to be bringing in a new, and we're coming out of the eclipse energy. All right. So the sun is now in Capricorn. So we're out of the eclipse season. So there's new stories, there's newness that's coming in. Yes, it's going to be emotional. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of emotion. But this new energy is like the sun is coming in without Saturn being there. So he's looking at this and he's like, whoa, we got some things to do here. Because he's shining his light. He's shining his light on it all. You're going to take my water, aren't you? Yes, he's going to take my water. So shining this light, this energy for us. And this is going to be fast reactions. Fastness is going to come in. And we need to get the bigger picture. And there are going to be dots that we are going to be needing to connect. So this time is for us to really come in to this darkness as we are in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's time for you to allow yourself to come out into the brightness, right? Because you're coming into the longest day of the year. And we're coming into the longest night. So it's in that night. The sun didn't rise till 8:35 this morning. And it's going to set very early. So we're coming into this time of darkness, of allowing ourselves just to come into that dream time, into that sleep time. So allowing ourselves to come into it, because the thing is with Jupiter moving forward, Jupiter is the trumpets that are going to be sounding. And we're going to hear the trumpet sound. And as we hear the trumpet sound, this is building up. And this is about us taking a risk. It's in Aquarius. Opportunities are going to come. And you can't sit there and say, oh, well, I don't know. We're not in Earth anymore. We're not in Earth energy. We're in air. Air comes in. Here you go. It's Aquarius. Here I go. I'm not going to come back again. Aquarius doesn't. She doesn't do that. She comes in and she says, here you go. Here's your water. And off it goes. My grandson. Off it goes. This is like you take it, otherwise it's gone. Right? Things shift and change. So it's not to be fearful. This is about allowing ourselves to be open to it. So don't be fearful and don't get into the fear, because you got to face the fears of unpredictability right now. You got to face these fears of unpredictability. And if we face the fears with this divine light and coming into this Christ consciousness, this crystalline energy, we can take a breath. We can take a breath. And that breath can come in such beautiful ways. It is the breath in prayer, allowing ourselves to breathe in and breathe out, coming in with that beautiful breath and that energy to allow ourselves to expand where we need to expand, retract where we need to retract. And that's what we're going to be feeling. Whew, so much there, so much there. So any comments here? Happy Yule to you too, Andrea. Good morning, Christine. Hello, Dwayne. Hello, Lisa. Hello, hello. Hello, Amanda. Amanda's been she's been on everything with me this morning. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good morning, everybody who's here. And for all those who I don't see here, blessings to you and good morning and good day, good afternoon, wherever you are. Now, there has been, hello, Tessa. Hello. Is there any, because I know Amanda asked a very good question on Instagram, and she asked if this is the Christmas star, I think it was. I don't have it now. If you asked about the Christmas star and it being the Christmas star. And as I stated, this is the Jupiter in that alignment is the alignment of the House of David, the Star of David. Yeah, if it is the Star of David, it is a lineage of the Star of David. We don't know everything. We as I stated before, we don't know when Jesus was born. Like we don't know the exact date. We don't have his natal chart for that. But we do know certain factors, and we can take out certain factors. And in the book of David, in the book of Matthew, where it says, it was Herod. Herod called in the Magi. He asked, you heard about these three wise men, these three Magi, which are high priests. They were priests in their religion, right? It was started with a Z. The religion. They were the higher up. They were the ones they studied many different mythologies and myths that came in, and as they related to the stars, and they worked on omens, like whatever the omen was, like a eclipse was an omen to something. So they knew that there was this alignment because they could see these two big stars coming together closer and closer. And they knew when these two came together, it was significant. But there were other alignments that were happening. They knew that when it came together in this time frame or in this area of the sky, that it was bringing in, and it was Pisces. We knew it was the age of Pisces and around that era. We don't know exactly when the era of Pisces started, but they knew that this was coming into some significance of a birth. Somebody or something, there was a birth of a king coming in. They knew this by watching the stars and studying the stars. Now, they followed this because through archaeology and going around to the different cities or different small towns and villages there and listening to the different stories. There's stories of these Magi, these three that came and followed a star in the sky for a year, and how they went to these different villages. And there's stories about them and how they came to Jerusalem. But on their way, that's where Herod said, let me know. How do you know this? And it was when they took him out on the balcony and said, look into the sky. And they showed him. When those two meet, we know there is a birth. So of course, Herod didn't want. We know the time frame about Herod was about 7. I think he died in like 9 BC, I think it was, but or 7 BC. So we know it's in some kind of time frame there, and that there was a significant event that happened. So there was a significance to this. There's a significance to this, of this birthing in for us of this divineness. So with it all, as I say, we don't know, because of time of that time, not everything was written down as well, I don't think things are written down perfectly now either. Some of the shit that's being written, but in this, we know that there was a significance to this all, and bringing it into the house of David. It was the house of David that had to go to Bethlehem to be counted, because that was where they were from. That's where Joseph's lineage is from the house of David. So, and we knew through writings that through the house of David, there was going to be a birth of some significance. Lo and behold, here we go. 2,000 years later, we're still celebrating this significance. And we brought in different, different parts. We brought in different forms, and it's not all pagan. Some of this is Roman, like Roman, or if you call Romans pagans, but this is very Satyrian. Part of this is part of Satyrian celebration. This is part of that of German, descent, of their bringing in of the greenery into the home. So we come into this season with many different traditions, and bringing in many different traditions of the colors, the gold, the green, right? The significance of it all is, it's quite, when you look into it, it is a culmination of many different practices coming together for the celebration of this one significant of Christ consciousness, because that was bringing in something new of that, of love, and bringing in that love energy and that divine message that needed to come in. And how that, and this isn't to get into the dogma, please, people don't get, this is looking at, this is what it said, this is how we can find a timeline, and this is how we work, and then looking at the astrology and bringing in the astrology. So this is a very galactical event for us all. This is a time where we are going to see a lot of changes coming up, and unexpected changes, I believe. That's what I feel. And for us to step into it and know that, not to be afraid, to know it's divinely timed. So I'm hoping I came across somewhat clear, so with you all. On December 28th, I have my peek into 2021. On January 1st, I have a 21-day manifestation meeting every Friday evening. So we have that. That's going to be starting on January 1st. January 1st, we have a morning meditation that's going to be starting up. And on the Wednesday, in the Celtic group, we're going to be having Sanctuary coming in once a week. And what else do we have coming? We have spell casting that's going to be happening on the first full moon of the year at the end of January. So January 28th, the first full moon of the year, we're going to start spell casting and learning about spell casting. And we're going to bring in different formations. We're going to bring in some hoodoo and voodoo. We're going to bring in some Celtic witch and some other, Italian witches and different pagan energies and different ways of casting or doing spell work and what that all means. So we're going to be covering in different aspects each week. We're even going to talk about to curse or not to curse, right? And what the different belief systems are. Doesn't mean it's my belief, doesn't mean it's your belief, but education is key. The more you're educated on things, the more you understand things. Then when it happens or when you see things, you're like, oh, okay, well, I don't need to go there, or that's not my thing. I'm over here, and this is my divinely connection. So that's what, for the spell casting on December 28th, so that we're having. There you go. Any questions or on any of this before I go, my loves? I have the angel tarot cards here. They've been coming out quite a bit. I'm going to pull a card for us for today. So I noticed all the social medias are quite quiet lately since some things came down. So our card for today. Okay, I can't make this shit up. It's the Sun card. So we got the Sun card today. So this is the coming of the sun. This is Archangel Uriel. This is a renewal. The sun is coming back. This is us having confidence in ourselves. And along with that, don't get trapped in the illusions. Don't get trapped in the illusions that are out there. right? So this is not to be afraid to take the actions that you want to take to lead to the success that you want. So don't get caught up in something that you, because of fear. And but even though you know that's where you need to go, and with that, the four waters. So there might be missing opportunities. The sun's coming out, showing you a new direction, yet we're getting lost in an illusion of things that we know aren't right. Synchronicity is amazing. There's been a lot of synchronicity this week. And this, Four of Cups, I mentioned this, Four of Cups comes in. It's like, I don't want that cup. I don't want that because I was expecting something different, or I don't want to. It's all of, getting into like, I don't want this, I don't want that. And it's like, no, let's get away. What do you want? Let's go towards that, right? You asked for this to come forward. Here it is. Now it's time to take action. And the overall card with that, is that it is the World card. That means things are changing. We've ended a story and a new one is about to begin. And we have to trust in this divineness that the sun is coming in for us all on this divinely orchestrated, synchronistic world we live in. February 1st, I'm also starting a Patreon page. So that's in February 1st. I'll be talking more about that as the coming days. Sending you off with so much love today. May the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Thank you for being a part of my day and a part of my community. Blessed be everybody, and thank you. Bye-bye.